Bloomberg View columnist Eli Lake, who I just talked about, Circuit News national security correspondent Sarah Carter, and New York Post columnist Paul Sperry. I want to go to you, Eli, and start with this because, first of all, the political assassination of Michael Flynn is a pretty provocative title here. Normally, intercepts of U.S. officials and citizens are some of the most tightly held government secrets for good reason, selectively disclosing details of private conversations monitored by the FBI and NSA gives the permanent state the power to destroy. This is what police states do. The permanent state, define that.
Well, it's the national security bureaucracy. It includes everything from the administrative side of the Pentagon, elements of the sort of career military, the CIA, the FBI. It's the people who would have possession of these kinds of intercepts, and we trust them. It is a public trust that this stuff does not get out into the public willy-nilly, because when you kind of selectively disclose it, you can ruin someone, because it's an extraordinary power to be able to listen to someone's phone calls or read their emails like that.
Yeah, and I think what's really important here is this is, you know, I have two articles here. One is by Kenneth Timmerman. He wrote a book back in 2007 called Shadow Warriors, about the intelligence community and the damage that they can do. And there's a Time magazine piece by Sam Frizzell. All of these leaks, ever since Donald Trump got in the picture. You're saying to the country tonight, this is unprecedented. Not unprecedented, well, this is not common.
The last time I can remember anything like this happened was in 2009. It was about Jane Harman. A lot of the press did not pick up that story. It was in CQ. But, you know, we almost never see this kind of thing because it's not just U.S. citizens, it's also U.S. officials. This is the kind of thing that happens in banana republics when the national police will go after a political leader that they don't like and using these extraordinary powers. And we trust the NSA and the FBI to use these powers to catch criminals and terrorists, but that should not interfere in our politics. And that stuff is interfering right now in our politics because Mike Flynn was President Trump's choice.
There's no other way we could have gotten that information if it weren't leaked from somebody in the intelligence community. Again.
Well, no. I mean, the question really is, the other thing is this. Most senior officials who have high clearances can't see the names of the people in these intercepts.
All right,
so
Sarah,
that's the other thing. Yeah. They're redacted.
What a great point. Sarah, I saw you shaking your head.
Yes, yes. I mean, Eli brings up several very important points here, and I think even more so, not just what happened with Lieutenant General Mike Flynn, but think about this. They exposed an operation on the Russians as well as other state actors. They said, hey, we're monitoring all your phone calls. Your cell phone is wiretapped. Your landlines are wiretapped. What are the Russians going to do? They're going to toss their phones. They're going to up the ante. They're going to tighten their belts, and they're going to find out how to fix their phone lines so that we can't monitor them. There are people within the U.S. intelligence community that I've spoken with today and yesterday that say there should be an investigation because basically they've been burned.
They've been burned big time.
So people within their own.
And a violation of law? Sarah, this is what you do.
And a complete violation of law, of federal law. So you got leaks. You've got 9 people leaking to the Post, others reading transcripts on the phone. So there needs to be an investigation into this. This is bigger than what everyone's seeing. I mean, imagine this. Right now, the Russians, other state actors like Iran, Syria, everybody is just burning all of their phones. They know that the NSA has the capability to get into those scrambled phones.
That's scary. Because in many ways, Eli's conclusion may be right then. If people are doing that, that is insidious and in many cases could be outright evil. Paul Sperry, before I get to you and your column, let me play Sean Spicer from earlier today talking about this very topic.
The idea that not just in this administration, but the Obama administration, going back to the Bush administration and back, that we have an issue where classified information, of which this would be, is handled in such a way that it is being given out. And I know in some cases it's a good story, and I understand that, and that's to some degree your responsibility to write that. But I think there's also a story here where the amount of leaks that are coming out of people that are entrusted with national security secrets and classified information are leaking it out. That's a real concern for this president, that when he's talking on the phone with a world leader, that when he's making key decisions that are in the interest of protecting this country, that we have to wonder whether or not people who work for our government, who are entrusted with classified information and decisional-based materials, are leaking that information out. That, I do believe, is a big story that should be reported. I also believe that the president is rightly so very, very concerned about this, because it's not just something that is plaguing the current situation, but it goes back through the Obama administration, the Bush administration, the Clinton administration. When we have government employees that are entrusted with this and then leak it out, that undermines our national security.
Paul Sperry, you wrote, as you're a columnist for the New York Post, and you wrote a column that was extremely disturbing, if true, how Obama is scheming to sabotage Trump's presidency. Do you see any connection here? And explain what you mean.
Well, I mean, intel has been politicized. There's no question about that, to delegitimize, undermine Trump, and that goes back to December. But these other protests against Trump, and also Republicans in these town hall meetings, Obama and his organizers, turns out, are behind those protests. They're not spontaneous. They're being organized by a group.
Do you think some in the intelligence community could have leaked this as supporters of Obama, holdovers, or maybe permanent bureaucrats?
Quite possibly. In the case of these marches and these other protests, these are being organized by a group founded by Obama called Organizing for Action. It's a radical Alinsky group. It's got a lot of money, and they're training an army of agitators to sabotage Trump and his policies, while at the same time protecting Obama's legacy, like Obamacare and the Dreamers. And here is OFA listed prominently on Obama's new website, OFA Organizing for Action.
Wow. So you think it's a lot deeper.
Oh, it's certainly.
I think we've got a long way to go. It sounds to me, based on what all of you are saying, and you are all experts in national security issues, that we need an investigation where these leaks are coming from, because it seems like this is political and it's damaging a lot of people, and that's the other side of the story that I think a lot of people are avoiding. Guys, good to see you all. Thank you for your insight. Good columns today.